reasons. In any case, we will start with our statement of being, because this is our mission, the reason we're here and joined together in community. And welcome Facebook and YouTube audience on this Sunday, May 24th. As we open with our statement of being, please join me in saying the statement together as we get it up on our screen for our Zoom audience and for the congregation. We believe that life is good, that God is all there is, and that love is the only power. We are a welcoming and inclusive community of inspired individuals caring for and about each other and the entire planetary family, bringing the gifts of active compassion and kindness to the world. Our purpose is to transform lives, build dreams, and reveal God through education, music, prayer, generosity, and play. So as part of our opening spiritual practice, we will take a couple minutes to be in silence and center in to this morning. The contemplative question, what do we hide in our community? Back into the sanctuary, being mindfully present. We open with a prayer of celebration and thanksgiving for this spiritual community, because we know we are all a part of the great one humanity on the planet, a part of all living things, for God is everywhere. And this infinite uniforce for good indwells all life. We are all a part of that livingness, that breathing, beautiful, inherently divine nature of spirit. And each of us uniquely exhibits and expresses the beauty, love, and joy of life. This day is a day to celebrate community, to celebrate our doubts, because as we explore them, we plumb the depths of our faith and resilience and grow deeper in love with life, expecting the very best. For good surrounds us and dwells within us. And I'm deeply grateful for all those who are here, that walk the path of faith and spirit, and know that this journey called life is a continuous journey of discovery, experimentation, and insight, for that is the way we were made. So I just bless our time together, grateful for all who chose to join us today, and to know that we enrich each other's lives by the love light that we share with our authenticity, our joy, and our sorrows. So I just release this word into the powerful action of love and law, knowing it is already done. And if any of this resonates with you, please join me in affirming it by saying, and so it is. And we have our beautiful Miss Amber, who's going to share some music with us.
Good morning, Monterey. We are having so much fun with our new soundboard. I mean, technology is amazing. What we did find, so every Sunday is a new opportunity, a new challenge to grow. And this week, and kind of last week too, we realized that the soundboard needs a good 5 minutes to warm up. There's nothing that we can do, no button that we can push or turn. It just needs to warm up. So Irene did everything perfectly this morning. It does things on its own time, like we do sometimes, right? But it all works out in the end. Any doubt that we may be feeling, I know that today that is the talk title, and we're so happy to have you with us, Dr. Kathleen. We love you. And it just all fades into God. And that's today's song. So Irene, if you would, please play the music. In my pain, there inside my weakness is the seed of something greater in me, and the shame of not choosing higher, and all the disappointing moments fade into God, and no mistakes have been made in God. All the ways that we seem to fail, in God all fade. It all fades into God. I like this second verse because it used to describe me. I used to think, there's no choice. I'm a prisoner of anguish in a jail of I'm so lonely, in a jail of all is lost. But the stars are shining to remind me, oh, a seed will need the darkness to change into new life. And no mistakes have been made in God. Oh, what a beautiful thought. Had we seemed to fail, in God all fade. It all fades into God. Put your hands together for me. Let's bring the mood up. Oh, 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 yeah. Hey. In God is the gravity that holds me together. In God is the orbit in which I am spinning. I see the stars and I remember to remember. Inside my pain lies the seed of my strength. In
stars, and I remember to remember inside my pain is the seed of my strength. God is my life, in God there's such excellence in all the ways that we seem to fail. In God, all faith, it all fades into God, and no mistakes have been made in God, and all the ways that we seem to fail. In God, all faith, it all fades, it all fades into God. Right or wrong, good or bad, it all fades. It all fades into God.
Are we blessed or what? Every time I hear Amber sing, I am moved emotionally to tears because it touches my heart space so deeply. And that song really kind of nails it, doesn't it? It all fades into God or Spirit or whatever name you call that higher knowing that dwells in you. And now it's my wonderful privilege and pleasure to welcome back Reverend Kathleen Geier, who is the founder of God at Play Virtual Ministry, which is a Center for Spiritual Living teaching chapter that's based in Union City, California, and serves a global spiritual community. A ministry without walls, God at Play reaches beyond beliefs, borders, and boundaries, affirming the sacred oneness that's shared by all people, regardless of their individual journey. Her teachings weave together Christian mysticism, contemplative spirituality, New Thought principles, and the direct experience of divine presence, drawing inspiration from teachers such as Meister Eckhart, Marguerite Porete, Brother Lawrence, H. Emily Cady, and Ernest Holmes. Reverend Kathleen invites others into a deeper awakening of consciousness and the realization of the divine that's already alive within them. Through sacred dialogue, spiritual practice, prayer, and transformative teaching, she encourages individuals to move beyond fear, separation, and striving into a lived awareness of love, presence, and inner freedom. Reverend Kathleen is known for creating welcoming spiritual spaces grounded in compassion, authenticity, and practical wisdom for everyday life. In her words, we have a shared oneness regardless of our personal journey. And above all, the world needs you. You are a blessing to all. So let's welcome Reverend Kathleen.
Good morning, Monterey. Woo-hoo. What a morning. I'm glad your speakers are up. But let's just take a look at this beautiful place. I know I have to stay within range of this, right, for your filming. Wow. This is amazing. You guys definitely lived today's topic. Communal uncertainty. And we'll get to that. Look around on what you created. And more importantly, feel how prayed up this place is. You can feel it. I was sharing with Bobby, I was sharing earlier that, for some reason, I knew this was the place. I've spent a lot of time across the street in my travels to Monterey over the years. And this is kind of like Church Row, if you think about it, and not too far. And then down the corner is not, well, you know, a Silmar, right? Not far away. So as I'm driving here today, you know, Reverend Robert had asked me if I wanted to do this online or if I wanted to be here in person. And I said, no, I need to go experience this. I need to go experience the blessing of this place. And what, you know, as I drive, everything always changes the morning of a service. It changes from the perspective of what you might hear on the phone, on the radio as you drive. It changes from the perspective of when you walk in and the people that are present, whether they're present online or they're present in person. Because I allow God to work through me on Sundays. In me, as me, through me. So I know whatever I'm going to say today, I'm recording personally because I have to listen to it, because who knows what the mystery is. But what always amazes me is that when CSL creates the sermon themes for the month, for the year, for the month, for the day, how perfect they are. How perfect they are. So, like, for example, in December, I set in motion, I've been speaking at Unity Castro Valley. You know, I've been kind of their visiting minister there. And we're doing a book series. We're doing a book series on the great mystics. So, for example, we spent time with Brother Lawrence. And Brother Lawrence taught us, the reason I chose Brother Lawrence was because the Pope said, and by the way, I love the existing Pope. I love that he's focused on people. He's focused on all paths to God, in my perspective. And he's not afraid to take on leaders that don't agree with that. Okay? And coming from a peaceful place, because peace is his journey, which seems to be the journey of the world right now. I mean, think about it. The monks left Fort Worth in the October time frame. And Fort Worth was that place that was the last to hear, that area was the last to hear that the Civil War had ended. And that's why we celebrate June 19th next month. Okay? And if you looked at the walk they took to Washington, D.C., interesting, was all rebel states. And their walk was a walk of peace, a walk of healing, which really gives us an idea of what our walk is. And if we're even doubting it, the world is calling us to do that now. Then we have a pope that comes along and says, wow, you know, there's peace. We need to be focused on peace. War no more. I think that was a song in the 60s. Okay? But the world's waking up to it. And the Pope said, Brother Lawrence's writings changed his life. In fact, they just released a new copy of Brother Lawrence's writings that the Pope does the introduction in. But basically, Brother Lawrence was a 17th century monk. He had gone to war and got hurt. And he was in poverty in France. I find it interesting that Meister Eckhart, while he's German, he was in France. I find it interesting that Marguerite Portet, who I'll share a bit about, was in France. You know, so it's just like, the French have more than just croissants. But the bottom line is, he was a sous chef. He worked in the kitchen. He supported 100 monks, and he said, you know what? I don't need to practice and be with God when you tell me to be with God. For the truth is, God is always present. God is always present. I always walk with him. I always get to commune with him. Marguerite Portet took us back to the 13th century, and she was willing to die for her beliefs, and said, it's the book that she wrote was, the book that's been published is The Mirror of the Simple Soul. And she's not talking about a simple person. Well, she is. She's talking about everybody. The simplicity in that God's within. Now, men were saying that at the time, but here she was, a woman saying that. And she was willing to die and did die for saying it. She was considered a heretic. You know, today I wonder what they'd think of us, because we say it. God's within. Okay. Then there's this phrase that I love that plays into today. And that is, faith and fear have, or I should say, fear and faith have you believe in something unseen. You choose. You choose. Isn't that what doubt is? Fear. Doubt is fear. And do we choose fear? I think sometimes fear chooses us. And it chooses us because there's a subconscious part of us that's percolating. It's percolating and it comes up and it says, don't go there. Don't go there. Oh my God, if you go there, this is what's going to happen. But what we forget is that that's I'll call it my inner child, whose job was to protect me at the age that inner child is. And I think I've shared with you guys before, I know I have this little one that I call the beach person. My beach person is about 4 years old, okay? My beach person stands right here behind me, peeks out and says, ooh, baddie with Jimmy's. Don't go there. I used to hate going into malls, and nobody could tell me why. I couldn't understand it, but it was because, ooh, baddie with Jimmy's. Okay? And then all of a sudden I grew up and I said, you know, I'm in charge of Kathleen. I'm the CEO. And oh, by the way, I've gathered up all my parts that, and some of them say baddie with Jimmy's, some say, let's go play. Okay. But all of them, I had to say to them, you guys, I appreciate, I honor you for what you've done for me and what you do for me. And I need you to keep doing it. I need you to tap on the door and tell me, ooh, baddie with Jimmy's. And then I'm going to say to you, I got this. That's what fear is. Fear is that doubt that creeps up because that little one or that other part of you is saying, something's wrong here. You better protect yourself. Don't go there. And so, like when you guys decided to sell the church, what did you think? I don't need you to respond. I just need you to bring up that feeling. You know, I'm going to respond. Okay? What the heck are we doing? And then you had people that said they wanted to buy it and some things changed. And I don't know all the stories. You guys do. I have the general picture of it. And then you got to say, ooh, what are we going to do? But you were called back to God because it fades into God. You had to step back and say, wait a second. I'm not going to let the communal doubt take me down this road. Okay? We got that going on in our country. Communal doubt. And this is not meant to be a political statement. It's only meant to be what's going on in the macro is going on in the micro is going on in the mini micro. And each day, each moment, we get to choose how we handle it. And we need to remember that it all fades into God. It's no different than the sound not working this morning and it takes 5 minutes to warm up. Hello? We take 5 minutes to warm up. Or more. Okay? So, like me, I lay in bed and say, okay, God, what are we doing today that's going to be fun? Because I'm not going unless it's fun. I'm not going down that road. I'm not making that choice. My younger sister said to me one time, she said, Kathleen, why do you not have any of mom and dad's diseases? Because I chose not to. She says, I got them all. Your choice. And you can change it. And you can change it. I remember the night before I went in for my MRI that the doctors called me. I was going in for an MRI, a biopsy MRI for breast cancer. And the doctors called me and said, well, and tomorrow after that, we're going to take you over here and do this. And I thought, whoa, they're certain they're going to find something. Because you know what, in our teachings we learn the eye that's looking for, it's going to see what it's looking for. Okay, was doubt put in my head? I said, oh, I got to go to God on this one. I have got to go to God on this one. Had been through 3 ultrasounds, back and forth, yes, no, yes, no. And when it was no for the 3rd time, they said, oh, we're going to do an MRI just to remove doubt from your mind. I don't have any doubt. Prayer works. Okay. But see, the deeper truth was I needed to go to God to find out, how did I create this? How did I create this incident? And in the evening before the MRI, I came to this realization. It was a simple vow I made as a child. When I grow up, I want to be just like you. And it was my older sister, who 7 years before had breast cancer, is a victim. She plays the victim. I thought, man, if I can create this, I can uncreate it. I didn't have enough time. I had enough time for them to find it and 2 weeks later remove it, which most of it was removed in the biopsy because I was smart enough to go in and have tests annually. It was my birthday gift to myself to remove doubt. Okay? Again, community doubt. Community doubt. You don't think I'm not freaking out knowing what's going on in Southern California right now in Garden Grove? Okay? Because my parents' house, fortunately they're not here, fortunately and unfortunately, my parents' house is just a mile past the evacuation in Anaheim. Okay? But it's got quite a few cities. And what people don't realize is that it's not about the gas, it's not about the fumes that are going to become present in the area. It's truly about what's going on inside. It's truly about the heat that the heated fluid is creating. It's an inside job. Just like us. It's an inside job. And yet it's on each of us to support each other. It's about on each of us to go back and to remind ourselves, to remind each other. Fear or faith? What do you choose? It's on each of us to remind each other to take that quiet journey, to quiet our minds. Say, squirrel? Monkey mind? Step outside. It's a training that comes by taking an extra moment at a stop sign to let go of doubt. If you guys had gotten hooked in the doubt of selling the church, the doubt of moving here, would you have this beautiful location? Don't get me wrong, you guys had a beautiful location where you were. But would you be here? Would you be in this blessed hall? I mean, because surely you walk in and you feel the essence of God when you walk in, regardless of how it's set up. I'm waiting for the Amber's concert that she's going to throw here. I'm waiting to see when you guys invite Rookie Geier and, is she? Awesome. Do we have a date yet? Hey, in mind. It's all in mind, right? That's right. I'm sure she'll be here. I saw her when she was at San Jose. Okay. And she always performs well. The truth is, though, she gets up there and she has no doubts because it all feeds into God. Or the one that I love, my most favorite song of hers is, "In the land of I am, I'm all that I can be. I'm the history of my grandparents." Okay? Do we give thanks for that? Do we even doubt that we're their history? What we need to remember is their soul journey is not ours. What they experienced and what the little fears are that we might know are theirs, not ours. Because we're living today. We're living with technology that they can't have. They didn't have. They chose not to have. Do we fear AI? Oh my God, what's it going to do? I don't. Because, the one thing AI doesn't have is critical thinking. Doesn't have the human experience. Doesn't have the collective to say, hey guys, don't go there. Go to God. Return to God. AI, unlike Google, Google reminds me of God. It does. You guys are laughing. But have you ever looked and asked a question and it didn't have an answer? I think I've only had that happen once or twice. And it was really the way I had asked. Okay, but it's just like, okay, anything that's available is available to us in an instant. That's why the times that we're living in right now and what we're seeing happen in the macro world is everybody in here has, or most of us all have, cameras on our phones. The question is, do we remember to pull them out? But in an instant, we know what's going on anywhere in the world. If you turn to God, you know that too. But more importantly, you know what's good for you, what you should be doing. And the key is we remove doubt. There's divine doubt. That's what they say. But I see divine doubt's only the thing that says, hey, kind of like answered prayers. Are they answered? Are they not answered? Some people will say all prayers are not answered. Some people will say all my prayers are not answered. Now, are they living in fear or are they living in faith? Okay. I would say God answers prayers in 3 ways. Here you go. As you wish. That's what the universe says, as you wish. Or, you know what? Not now, because I got something better for you. Beyond what you can even believe. And then the third one is, okay, give me a month. Okay. But see, we want to be in control. Oh, no, not me. I'm a control freak. Not me. I want to know everything. I want to do everything. I loved it the other day. I've just changed jobs in the last month, and I was talking to their retirement services people, and they said, how long are you going to work? Till I quit? Why are you? My first boss at Pacific Bell, 30 days into my job, says, Kathleen, what are your long-term goals? I said, now you're going to really see who I am in this next statement. I said, I want to be president of Pacific Bell. She laughed. And then she says to me, well, aren't you setting your heights a little too high? I said, number one, I can't believe you just said that to me. Number two, I'm going to say I lowered my thoughts. What? Yeah, one time I wanted to be CEO of AT&T. And this was right as the time that AT&T and Pacific Bell were breaking up, right? And I said, why are you asking me to limit myself? I want to go as far up the ladder as I can. You know, when I left AT&T before I was 50, I left as a director. Okay, and it was funny because at one time they wanted to call us, a group of us, Global Operations Director. I said, I'll take that. Think about that. God for short. Because see, I was already in my practitioner studies, getting ready to go to ministerial school. So of course, why wouldn't I want to proclaim, yes, I'm Global Operations Director. There's no doubt in my mind. You know, so fortunately they changed it to Global Administrative Director. But it was pretty funny, because we had people that said, you just think you're God. I don't think it, I know it. I know that all of me is a God. Do I turn to that at all times? No, not at all. When doubt strikes, I have to look at it. Because what I'm doing, and I would invite you to think about doing, I'm letting all of those things that my inner child, my subconscious is running through me, I'm letting it percolate up. And I'm holding it out here and I'm saying, is this my belief? Or is it the belief of those that raised me? Is it the belief of society? Is this mine? Because I know it's percolating up so I can let it go. So then I can reseed this, if you will. Reseed it so that it's what I believe today. And I'll tell you what, there's a lot of stuff that comes percolating up. But what I know is not to get into the fear of it. I know to set it over here, and I also know to go to a practitioner if I need to. I know what is mine to do and what mine is to give up. And it all gets back to how fast do I return to my center? What today's topic, if you get anything out of today's topic, what you should walk away with is, how fast do we as a community called CSL Monterey, how fast do we look at the doubt that we have? And how fast do we address it with the divine? How fast you got some interesting stuff coming up in September. Okay? Some beautiful things transpiring. And you don't have to rush into anything. You get to take the time to vision. You get to take the time to go to prayer. You get to take the time and declare what is ours. And you get to take the time to name it and claim it. One of my friends said, Kathleen, you walk through life and you say, you and God got this. There's a great song. Me and God's got this thing going on. We got together like two peas in a pod. As a child, I learned that Jesus was my friend. Now I say, not Jesus, but the Christ consciousness is in me. Okay? I'm not afraid to turn to that. I'm not afraid to say that. And no longer do I apologize to the world for who I am. I have no regrets. And people will say, you're nuts. I said, no, I'm not. Because anything I regret takes away from who I am now. Because everything I've experienced brought me to this moment in time. I'm not the person that woke up this morning. I'm not the same person. because I experienced a great drive down here. I'm experiencing this community. And I have a lot more things to experience before I go to sleep tonight. I wake up in gratitude. One of the congregants in Unity, Castro Valley, what I did was in November, I gave everybody a mason jar. And I told them to start putting their gratitude in there. And at the end of the year, what we did was we read the gratitudes. And some of them, and I encourage them to continue it. Some of them are doing it. But what I love is this woman that's been in Unity for a long time, has experienced Centers for Spiritual Living. She raised her hand one day and she says, I'm just giving prayers of gratitude. She says, you know, every morning I wake up and I say my prayers for what I want for the day. She says, and then I instantly turn around and write a note giving thanks for those answered prayers. Now, most people do their gratitude journal at night. What a concept to start doing it in the morning. Set the stage for your day. Test it. Remove the doubt that you have in your head in regards to giving it to God. Okay, God, surprise me today. Remove that doubt. As a community, remove that doubt. Surprise us. You wouldn't be here if you didn't do that. You wouldn't be in this location if you hadn't done that. Okay? So with that, I'm going to take us into prayer. Because you know what? You need the sacred pause. I'm also going to take us in prayer in regards to the weekend that it is. It's ours to recognize what the weekend is that we're here. It's Memorial Day weekend. Something that started in the 1800s. Okay? Right, wrong, or indifferent, to pray for those souls that were lost. Interesting enough, we didn't declare it Memorial Day until the 70s, 1970s. Okay? Most people look at it and say, it's the first day of summer. Let's have a barbecue. I'm inviting you to take it and look at it as a point of reflection. And not being a political statement, because I'm not going to go there. I voted yesterday. That's how I spent my Memorial Day weekend. Okay? I took and reflected and gave thanks for those that fought for my freedom, that continue to fight for my freedom. And then I deposited in the ballot box at Union City. So I encourage you to vote. I'll also go as far out as saying, and oh, by the way, if you don't vote, shame on you. Because in not voting, you are voting. You're voting for the outcome. Okay, and I've always encouraged people to vote. I will continue to encourage people to vote. And if you tell me you didn't vote, I'm going to say shame on you. Okay, because it's something we take for granted sometimes. And truly, as I've gotten older in life, I no longer take those kind of things for granted. As far as the freedoms I have, especially as a woman. The freedom of being able to stand before you as a woman of God and proclaim it. Because not all churches recognize that. That's why I really love when the Mormons come to my door. I really, truly love it. Because I love a good discussion of the Bible. They never ask me my name. And then they say, can I pray for you? And I always love prayer, but here's the better part. That's when they say, what's your name? And that's when I have fun and say, Reverend Kathleen. And they look at me. I said, yes. Because I know the look. And you know, the truth is I do have some very good friends that are Mormon, and I love their practices. They're just a little different than mine. Okay? But all paths lead to God. So as we go into our prayer, let us begin by remembering. Remembering those whose lives were given in service. Remembering the sacrifices carried by families, communities, and nations. Remembering that beneath every flag is a human story, a sacred life, a longing for peace. And in this moment, Spirit, God, we also remember something deeper. That even in uncertainty, you are always with us. You were with them. You held them safely. And you're here now with us. Even in the questions we cannot answer, your love remains present. Even in a divided and changing world, there is still a thread of oneness, calling us toward one another, opening our hearts this day, all days. Help us listen deeply, speak honestly, and remain compassionate with ourselves, especially with ourselves, in each other. May our doubts become doorways into wisdom. May our remembrance become reverence. May our gatherings become holy ground. May we always remember the sacred as present. And as we remember these things for ourselves individually, let us remember it for the communities. This community, Monterey, Centers for Spiritual Living. The greater community, Monterey. The state of California. The country. The states that make up the country, the United States. United States. The world. And may we know that you, God, open everyone's hearts. May we know that regardless of appearances, your presence gives assistance to those making decisions. Let us know that every decision brings up the opportunity for healing within ourselves and within the nations. Healings that totally bring us back to your presence, God. Your presence. May we know that every place that gathers, just like we're gathered here this day, every place that's in prayer, every person that's in prayer, turns to you by choice, and knows that doubt, fear, is just an opportunity to let go, to let God. And it's with a grateful heart I speak these words. It's with a grateful heart that I stand before this community. It's for a grateful heart for all of those that are hearing this in this moment, whatever that moment is. That they too turn to you easily, effortlessly, from a place of grace, from a place of gratitude, and just say, God, show me the way. Lead me this day. Let me be authentic in the unconditionality of your love. And if any of this is true for you, if any of the words spoken speak to you, I ask you to join me by saying, and so it is. Amen. Shall we do the song, Amber? Amen. Amen. Thank you.
So I think on the screen we have our weekly affirmation, and I would invite you to say this twice with me to really kind of cement in with your voice and your sensibility the embodiment of the idea. I recognize my doubt as holy and productive, because we all experience doubt regularly. I recognize my doubt as holy and productive. And one more time. I recognize my doubt as holy and productive. Thank you. So one of the spiritual practices that's one of my favorites is the idea of abundance, well-being, and physically donating to this spiritual community to keep it functioning and moving forward. And sometimes I'll even tithe to wherever I feel spiritually nourished, which may be an individual at a restaurant, or maybe it's in a shop. But the important thing is that we all bless each other in some way, and this community is a huge blessing to me. It's my church home, my church family. It's my rock, my solid foundation, particularly when I feel weary or out of balance. So know that each of you bless me deeply. And I would invite all of us to join together in our affirmative abundance giving affirmation on wealth and abundance. I recognize the spirits of God within as the source of my abundance. Out of my abundance consciousness flows everything I could desire in life. With gratitude and thanksgiving, I now participate in the flow of uninterrupted abundance. This prosperous experience is evidence of my abundance consciousness. And know there are many ways to donate. We can do the good old-fashioned, put cash in the basket here, or we can text to give. We can mail in checks to our new address, 52 Soledad Drive in Monterey. Sorry. Yes, and we have a P.O. box. I can't read it. 804. Oh, mail only to the P.O. box. That's right. We don't have a mail drop here. But if you want to visit us here, we're on Soledad Drive. So P.O. Box 804, Monterey 93942. And of course, you can always donate online to montereycsl.org just by pressing the donate button. We make it simple and easy to do. And know that many are on kind of auto pay donations, which is wonderful. But as a mindful reminder, just bless the offering basket with love as it goes around, because we believe in the law of circulation. And the more we circulate, the more it returns to us amplified, multiplied, and pouring over with blessings in whatever form. Also, I want to acknowledge our virtual audience on Zoom, YouTube, and Facebook, and to just acknowledge that this teaching is a worldwide teaching available to everyone on the global planet, and that this is indeed a transformative philosophy for living the good life and realizing that blessings come in many forms every day, and to stay awake and aware to Spirit moving through each person you come in contact with, because it's the face of God looking back at you. And Spiritual Living Discussion Circle normally happens on the fourth Sunday of the month, which is today. And I'd invite those that choose to stay to just circle up around one of the round tables, and we can discuss our own stories about doubt and overcoming doubt and finding our resilience and our faith and our strength. I know that part of exercising that resilience muscle is overcoming doubt. So please stay after. I invite our Zoom family to drop a note in the chat if they would like prayer after service, and to let us know. Also, there are practitioners available here in the room. Connie, Amber, and I are here, and Kathleen too, Reverend Kathleen. If any of you would like an individual, quick 1-minute miracle prayer, just approach one of us and request it, and we'd be happy to pray with you. And we know that part of our wrap-up is to testify. Now, we started a little late, so I will entertain one or two testifies as we say bye-bye to our Facebook virtual audience. And come back next week. We have a new theme popping up for June. Oh, no. Next week we have Fifth Sunday. We have one more Doubt Sunday. Come back next week. Doubt as devotion. Questioning as an act of faith. Oh, that'll be a good one. We'll come up with some good questions next week on Sunday service, Fifth Sunday. And I believe, are we potlucking Fifth Sunday? We don't know. Look at the newsletter and figure it out. The answers are in the newsletter. Okay.